One day this quiet voices will be heard. Loud and clear the story of the ones with me. Read the keys, realize what we left behind. Nothing easy, get off the go, get it go. Exploring Italy from the time. No one should need it for me to realize. No matter how far, how you go, how short is the life. It's your life, burning your
Not. How's it going, man? How you doing? I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought I wasn't streaming today. Okay. Orbit. Yes. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Chris, how's it going, man? I guess you saw my message. What message? What? Oh, oh, the more than 24 chapters? Listen. Yeah, that guy fucked me over. That fucking wait till I get a piece of that dickhead. This weekend. I'm about to see him. I'm scheduled to see him. Friday. Definitely Saturday, maybe Friday. We're gonna have a goddamn chat what that idiot was thinking. God. A terminal, a hangar, the plane, and a runway. Things you'd hear at the airport. Yeah, the number of chapters is genuinely fucked. I don't think that's even physically possible. If I said, let's say I call in sick to work tomorrow, okay? Let's be fucking crazy here. I can't, but let's say I could. I've called in sick too many times this year. I can't. I don't have any more sick days. I have to go until November without taking a single sick day now. Because I've taken so many sick days. I gotta genuinely, or I'm gonna fucking get a, like, hey, everything good? I can't. I literally can't. I have to go through August, September, October, November. December I can call in sick again. So 4 months I gotta go. Fuck, this is so cooked. Idiot. When it releases? I've never played the first one, but yeah, fuck it. I don't know. But yeah, even if I somehow did, that'd be 50 chapters a day. 50 chapters is 500 minutes is what, 9 hours? 8 hours of streaming a day? I literally can't do that. Seer, how's it going, man? Globe. You know the newest Avatar trailer came out? I did not. Ignotus, how's it going, man? Thank you for coming. I know it's a little later than my previous stream. I didn't think I was even going to be able to stream today, but I managed to eke it out. Mind your own biz.
Let me rock the world tomorrow.
Please, King played the days when my mother was there. Persona 5 music gets the fucking channel, gets the stream demonetized. But fuck it, you asked. Fuck it. I don't make any money off the streams anyway. The only time I make money is like memberships or donos. That's literally it. I don't make anything off the stream, so who even gives a shit. I've heard this song, I know. I played Persona 5, man. Sure. Morpheus, holy shit. Long time no see. Ignotus, yeah, Vanitas? Yeah, I got you, man. Give me 1 second, I'll get you the link. You want the version that we listen to on stream, right? Because Vanita, there's a lot of that, but you want the one we listen to specifically on stream, right? As long as it's that one, then it's this. You've been streaming constant like 3 AM for me, buddy. I know, it's all good, man. How you doing? Thank you so much for coming, man. It's 1 AM? Damn, love you guys, man. Do you guys think partially the reason less people come to Koi streams is not only because Koi is ass, even though many people do believe that, it's also because I've changed my stream timings to later, and that's been kind of fucked for a lot of people? Do you think so? Because I feel like we've gotten so many people more people in stream since I've started streaming early this week, and it was like, motherfuckers, none of you could have just told me like, hey bro, can you stream a little early? I've watched the Avatar trailer. It comes out on October 9th. It looks good. I don't know if the writing can be as good as the original. Oh, I have seen what you're talking. Never mind, I have seen what you're talking about. I have seen this. I do. Sarah, that's a good point. I do have that stat. Fuck. Idiot. What am I doing? Fuck. And I love you for it, Morpheus. Thank you. Surely what you wanted to hear, right? Spend the monthly 99 cents wisely. 70 cents. YouTube gets 30. But you know, I do. 5 months. 350. I can almost... 1 more month and I can afford a pack of gum. 1 more. Just 1 more, Morpheus. Just don't give up on me, homie. Idiot. There is a tax on... Are you referring to the income I receive or the gum I buy? Because if you're talking about the gum, I'm factoring in the tax for the $4, give or take. Should be fun. If you're talking about the income, yes, technically that is taxed on that as well. So technically I would need another month for the tax. When I pay for membership? That's a good question. Let's see. I assume so, but I don't know. That is a good song, though. That is a good song, Sierra. I don't blame you for your choice. That was good. Let's see. I assume there's tax. I don't know. $0.19 tax. Yeah, there is. Remember, when do you think a crackhead in the street will come and say, I don't got money for drugs? Exactly. Lock in. The meth addict doesn't go, damn, I can't afford meth today. He gets out there and steals your catalytic converters. Chop chop. Taxes when you sell, taxes when you buy, taxes annually. Genuinely. Think about it. Or does it depend on currency? It's worth the same now. It didn't used to be noticed, but now YouTube has standardized the conversion. Previously, it used to be like cheaper or more expensive depending on, I think Unknown was the one who originally figured this out, because he was like, yo, my membership cost got cut in like half because he moved from the US to like India for a couple months. And he was like, what the fuck? But now I think YouTube standardized them. Roughly, like I'm sure there's some conversion differences or whatever, but like roughly. Dude, genuinely not. Think about it. You earn a salary, okay? You make money, you work a job, you do whatever. You get taxed on that. When you buy something, that gets taxed. If, let's say you buy a membership, you get taxed on that. I get the money, I get taxed on that as income. I then use that money to buy something, I pay tax on that too. It's like, how many times are you taxing the same fucking dollar? What the fuck? Ooh, how's it going, man? I didn't think I'd be able to stream today, but I managed to lock in a little bit quicker than expected. You really should switch on Twitch to stream and put the VODs on YouTube. I don't know. I don't think many of you would come to use Twitch though. I don't know. I just don't figure many of you like. I would be so happy to dual stream. I don't know how to do that, mind you, but I'm sure I can figure it out. I just don't figure many people would go there. And secondly, first I would need to get like partnership or however that works to be able to make money, to be able to have like things on thing, to be able to have subs on Twitch anyway. And I think you need like 100 members for that, or 100 followers. I feel like that would take fucking a couple months for me to get even hit that. And it's just like, ugh, cancer, AIDS. But you get a better cut if you haven't. Oh, is that how that works? Oh, cool. I did not know. Okay. Harsh, how's it going, man? Okay, Kami, I'm gonna be really annoying. I'm really strapped for time today. Like, I just don't know how long I can stream, and I'm also not feeling the best. I'm gonna read the author notes tomorrow, okay? Because tomorrow, Friday night, I don't have any plans finally, I don't have any plans this weekend. I can just chill, stream, fucking laughing. But, so I'll read them tomorrow, okay? I can make multiple input for stream keys to delay for dual stream. Thanks, Howard. I appreciate it. I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I'm not too sick, which is nice, but, you know, I do appreciate it all the same. If I go here? Fucking no, idiot! You dumb bitch! Look into my eyes. Idiot. Where Matt goes, there he goes, hot. You have no sick days left? Genuinely, dude. No, the good thing is I never take sick days when I'm sick. I'll have you know. I don't know where I heard this, but I live by it nowadays. And it's, why waste a sick day when you're sick? Listen, if I'm sick, I'm gonna be miserable. If I'm working, I'm gonna be miserable. But if I take the day off to be sick, then I'm miserable and I'm not at work. Or I could just be miserable because I'm working anyway, so I'm gonna be miserable. Take a sick day when you're like, yo, it's beautiful outside. Or like, I want to go out with some friends on a fucking Tuesday. Why am I... Who the fuck? This is a new one. Excuse me. I work from home, Seer. I work from home all the time. I do not. I only work from home. What the fuck? Who is this? Bro, it's so weird. I think it's Bullseye, but I genuinely don't know who is the guy who does all these channels. I genuinely don't know who this is. I appeared like 7 months ago once and mysteriously disappeared. Bro thinks he's Aman or Adam, showing up all mysterious like you're not that guy, pal. Okay. Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to change my background. Hold on. I want to change my background to the one that was shown yesterday. I had a bee in my fridge. Ew! Ew! Hold on. I'm gonna go on a break real quick because I want to figure out how to do this, okay? By the way, how do you guys like the break emote? I loved, or the break thing. I love this. This is so cool. I'm eating, you vile bastard. What did he write? Okay. Who am I blocking here? Fuck, is there a way for me to block the bum bitch fours? Is that possible? Who am I blocking? Is that Jenna? I don't care. As long as it's not fours, I don't really care. Or, no, hold on. As long as it's not Franca, I don't really care. Gio? Fuck him. No, that's Gio, idiot, over there. I'm in the team, boys! First chapter's a chill. Nice, nice. Okay, cool. It is nice to have some... It is nice. Amon is here? Look at this guy. This guy. Look at him. He's right here. Seer? That deserves a fucking 1 minute timeout. That deserves a 1 minute timeout. 47? That's horrible. That's Gio. She's a child. Then you're gonna say, no, she's a grown adult. She's 4'10". She's a child. You permabanned him? Okay. It's okay. I undid it. Okay. I undid it. It's fine. Kami, that was like the least abuse of power thing ever, okay? That was disgusting. That's Gio. That's a child. This is what Orwell was talking about in 1984. Orwell was talking about getting shadow banned in a YouTube chat. That is what he was referring to when he talked about Big Brother, really? Wow, he was such a fucking visionary. He knew about YouTube chats back then? Damn. He was kind of goated with the sauce. Oh, tomorrow we'll stream at the time I've been streaming the last like week or so, okay? Tomorrow we'll get back to that. Wait, hold on. If I go to 47 today, technically I make up for the chapter I missed yesterday. Or 2 chapters, rather. That's fine. What was I... Oh, so I need 1179 minus 99. I need to get to 1080. I need to get to 1080 by Monday night. That's doable. Yeah, that's totally doable. There's like 55 chapters, 4 days? Aw, Ignotus, thank you so much, dude. Seriously, you don't have to do that every time. Thank you. So much. Seriously, you like, just please, just pop by. I'd love for you to just say hi. You're good, man. But thank you. Seriously, I appreciate it. Thank you. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. As LEMMiNO walked down the stairs, the sunlight was bright and Franca, Jenna, and Anthony were leisurely enjoying tea. Is the meeting over? Franca asked. It's over, LEMMiNO said. What can you tell us? Don't mention anything you're not supposed to, obviously. Franca had an expression implying that she wanted to broaden her horizons. And Wiz isn't... I'm the big Yahoo? You figured it out? I wish I had those fucking, you know, Mission Impossible fucking masks. It'd be perfect. LEMMiNO sat down and said, "There's not much to say. Today's meeting was quite ordinary. The major arcana holders mainly report to Mr. Fool about their respective responsibilities, and Mr. Fool gave a corresponding instruction. You seem to respect Mr. Fool quite a bit." "Why do you say that?" LEMMiNO replied. "Do I really need to answer such a simple thing? If it weren't for Mr. Fool, you definitely would add more adjectives before instructions like high level or all-encompassing. I've always been quite respectful towards deities, except a few," LEMMiNO smiled. "As someone attending a divine meeting for the first time, I had nothing to report. I only raised questions about Madame Polly and her daughter Amibala, hoping to get some answers." "What did Mr. Fool say?" Franca and Jenna asked. Before LEMMiNO could answer, points of starlight appeared in the void and sketched out the figure of Madam Magician. Wiz is the shadow that controls the thread of Netanyahu. So you're saying the big Yahoo pulls the strings of everyone in the universe and I pull the strings of the big Yahoo? That does make me kind of... Does that not make me the primordial God Almighty in that case? Like Adam pulls everyone's strings, but the primordial God Almighty pulls his strings? Like, damn. Upscale, genuinely. She said to Lumen, Franca, and Jenna, "You can go to the Blue Avenger now to explore the treasury left behind by Lista Tudor. I will go with you to provide the necessary assistance." Do you need to postpone for a while to make some preparations? The Tudor dynasty's treasure obviously consisted of items mainly related to the Hunter pathway, supplemented by those of the Demoness, and then some items of the Seer, Apprentice, and Marauder. Quite suitable for the 3 Demonesses to explore and obtain characteristics. As for Anthony, other arrangements had been made, and the further recovery of Ludwig's strength would have to wait until Lumion or Franca reached Sequence 3 to avoid accidents. "No need, let's go now," Lumion said. Madam Magician said no more, creating a dazzling, dreamlike double door and bringing the 3 Demonesses to the Avenger. Mr. Hangman, dressed as a captain, was already awaiting. "Can you sense the mirror imprint you left in the treasury?" Madam Magician asked. "Yes," Lumion sensed. He didn't try to reach the full-length mirror with the imprint using the mirror traversal because the corresponding area behind the mirror, or the mirror world, contained Elisa Tudor's backup for resurrection. For him, the main function of that mirror imprint was to provide the necessary positioning so him and his companions could enter the treasure, and in the future, it would serve as a trap marker to take down powerful enemies at the cost of mutual destruction. "Sounds good, Chris. Have a good dinner." After sensing, Lumion walked towards the depths of the ship cabin while deliberately continuing the previous topic. Mr. Fool's revelation was that after becoming a Demoness of an agent, go to the City of Silver to borrow the gift of the land and bring it to the City of Exiles in front of Hanbro. Indeed, one knows Amibella, one shouted Zadis. Let them meet, perhaps they'll spark something. Franca realized. At this moment, the Hanged Man turned and said, "I think in Mr. Fool's revelation, not only is the latter part important, but the prerequisite also." "The prerequisite of becoming a Sequence 3? Can't you borrow the gift of the land and bring it to the Abscessed Hand now? The only help you may need is the communication with the Church of Knowledge." "True," Jenna agreed. Lumion had already had all the conditions to briefly use the gift of the land and could get to the City of Silver's permission through Mr. Sun. He didn't need to wait until reaching the Demoness of an Aging level to do this. Are certain changes brought about by becoming a Demoness of an Aging the catalyst for this whole thing? Or is it that only by becoming Sequence 3 can one deal with the inevitable accidents after the gift of the land meets the Abscessed Hand? No, the latter scenario can basically be ruled out, Lumion said. As the proxy of 001, he had considerable authority in front of the Mountain of Corpses, and there was a much difference between a Sequence 4 or a 3. "Sid, I finally finished! Let's go!" I'm not gonna lie, that was a mid-ass volume. The ending, absolute fucking 11 out of 10, goated, woated with the sauce. With the fucking A1 steak sauce. But god damn, it was dragging. You know what the good thing now is? I got like 150 chapters left, bro. I got 150 fucking chapters. By the time I'm done today, I'll have like, what, just about 130 chapters left or so? Guys, if we leave with 130 chapters and I just keep up this pace right now for another week, we finish COI next weekend. Next Sunday, we finish COI. That's doable. Like, don't get me wrong, this week has been rough. Like, it's been a lot of reading. I'm not going to lie to you and say otherwise. But, like, maybe doable. It should be some changes brought about by the inherent quality of becoming a Demoness of an Aging, Madam Magician said. Franca grumbled. Why doesn't Mr. Fool speak more clearly, just giving revelations for us to interpret ourselves? Mr. Hangman glanced at Franca and said, "I learned a phrase in the Dream City. Words, once given, become reality. Every action and word of a great existence influences fate and the world. Back then, in the process of Mr. Fool becoming a great existence in just 3 years, many things he said were later verified, one by one. In this situation, speaking clearly and not speaking clearly will be part of the thing, and the interference with fate will be different and the final result will deviate." Lumion nodded and felt surprised inwardly, feeling that the Hanged Man was much more enthusiastic than previously. Previously, Mr. Hangman wouldn't be stingy with his judgments and explanation, but he only did and said what was within his duties. This time, he took the initiative to talk. Is it because I've become a Major Arcana holder? He seems to value hierarchy quite a bit, eh? Madam Magician added, moreover, this matter involves the Great Mother. Even Mr. Fool can't see it very clearly, and can only receive certain revelations. Now that Mr. Fool has awakened, I don't mean to disrespect Mr. Fool, I'm just more concerned about his current state. Maybe there's something I can still help with. After all, I'm a transmigrator. What I want to ask is, what level has Mr. Fool recovered to by now, and how is the Fool identity you guys woven running? We are not clear about the specific level of recovery. We can only be sure that in terms of level, he is not a complete the Fool. This Fool without the Mister refers to sequence 0 of the Seer path. The basis for the judgment, including from the Major Arcana holders, including Lumion's, was if the identity of Gehrman was already a complete Fool, it would mean he could grasp all the authorities of the Seer path, when true Mr. Fool would have sufficient advantage in the matters of fusion and confrontation, fully awakening. In my personal opinion, he's not agile enough, or rather, he's colder and more indifferent, closer to Gehrman Sparrow. I think in my personal understanding, Gehrman is currently more like an AI that has integrated some of Mr. Fool's will and ideas. Think about it. One of the foundations of Gehrman's stable existence is a large number of faith anchors, and the different people's perceptions of him are different. This is one of the foundations of AI's existence is a large amount of data, and the data collected from the internet, fed to AI, may be incorrect, fabricated, or self-imagined. This will bring corruption, very similar to the corruption of faith anchors you mentioned. The current AI stands in that as long as you dare to believe in it, it dares to fabricate, and the reactions presented by Gehrman will also be affected by the corruption of faith anchors. While not affected the transmission of Mr. Fool's core and ideas, there will be personalized, even contradictory manifestations. Well, if he's equivalent to Mr. Fool's AI assistant, the better he iterates, the faster he evolves, and the more authorities and power Mr. Fool can grasp and mobilize, ultimately helping him defeat the Celestial Worthy. But I don't understand. I thought the whole point was that as at the apocalypse, the will of the original creator would die, no? That's why everyone said, like, oh, we're waiting to get closer to this cataclysm to evolve to great old ones. So why did Klein say that? But original creator doesn't equals. But Celestial Worthy is a part of the original creator. If B is formed of A, if A dies, then it ceases. Then it stands to reason that B would also die. Does that not logically track? Am I crazy? I know you're saying apart, but Celestial Worthy is a part of the original creator. But all of the Celestial Worthy came from the original creator. The original creator is only part Celestial Worthy, but Celestial Worthy is fully original creator. Madam Magician, who had a very deep understanding of faith anchors, nodded. What we need to do next is purify Gehrman's anchors and adjust people's perceptions to varying degrees. That includes our perception of Gehrman, Mr. Hangman added. As they spoke, they arrived at the stairs leading to the lower deck of the ship. Glancing at the dark, bottomless end of stairs, Lumion took out a mirror and activated the contractibility on his body, sensing the imprint of the full-length mirror in the two-door treasury, ready to dive into the mirror and traverse at a moment's notice. Lumion said to Frank and Jenna, walk close to the sides, later, very close. From his experience walking down the stairs this way, would bring them into the reflection of the full-length mirror. From beyonders of other paths, they only needed to guard against being affected by the resulting illusions, scaring themselves or death. But Hunter and Demonesses let their shadows be reflected on the full-length mirror. They may have their bodies snatched by the long-fallen Alista Tudor, allowing him to resurrect. Lumion thought that given Alista's level of madness, he probably wouldn't care whether it was a Blood Emperor or a Blood Empress who returned. Okay, Franca and Jenna said. Even if they didn't know what the corresponding dangers he was referring to was, they would heed his advice. You wouldn't think everything would die when he dies? That's a good way to put it, Not. I appreciate it. That makes sense. God, that's so fucking frustrating, though. I thought the whole point was Klein just needed to hold out until the Cataclysm, or the fucking whatever, and then his will would die, and Klein would be like, "No, I am the Great Old One." But fucking no, he's like, "Nah, I can only hold out," and eventually he'll win. What? Lumion maintained the activation of the mirror imprint and let the aura of Alista Tudor on his palm intensify. He hadn't yet started descending the stairs when he heard Madam Magician say, "I've located your mirror imprint." Along with the voices, a response, dazzling. Points of light lit up, enveloping Lumion and the others, and when vision was restored, Franca found herself in a corridor that seemed to be condensed of starlight. On both sides of the corridor were bright doors standing in the darkness, the bottom illusory, revealing endless darkness, while above them there was no dome, with stars dotting the sky. At the end of this deep, spacious corridor sat a silver full-length mirror with a classic design. Almost simultaneously, Franca and Jenna noticed Madam Magician raise her right hand and gently grasp towards the front. Around that silver full-length mirror, space suddenly bent, forming a sealed sphere in a state of deep shadows, blocking all light. Lumin and the others could no longer see that full-length mirror, and that mirror could no longer reflect them. Kami, you know what a video I'm genuinely excited to make now? This is so fucking niche. This is gonna get like 4 views, or it's gonna pop off. I don't know, it's 50-50, okay? It's either gonna get 0 views or like do really well. Erides explained. Because I feel like there's so many people who love Erides. I feel like the entire LOTM community loves Erides, but like the majority of them, or at least a lot of them, haven't read COI. And so it'd be like such a good little... I don't like Erides. Seer? 0 out of 10. Yeah, but what I heard was it's split between people who view him differently but all love him. Lumin and the others could no longer see the full-length mirror, and the mirror no longer reflected them. This way we can be a bit freer, Madam Magician said. Wearing a black robe with silver patterns, she turned to Lumin, Franca, and Jenna. You can choose the treasure rooms now. I will handle the dangers inside. Franca and Jenna looked at Lumin, waiting for him to demonstrate the other two. Lumin looked left and right, slowly moving forward along this deep, spacious corridor, while saying, in the area above the grey fog, when I mentioned Madame Polly and Ami Bella, I also talked about a concern. What concern? Franca asked. She and Jenna could roughly guess that Lumin wanted to use casual chat to distract his own mind, choosing treasure solely based on intuition. Lumin then turned back to Magician, Mr. Hangman, and said, at the end of the awakening operation, there were 2 things I couldn't understand. 1, why was there no movement from the primordial demoness? And 2nd, why didn't the Great Mother Sai try to stop it, even though she had so many arrangements? The lack of interference from other existences was expected. The Celestial Worthy wouldn't wait until they were ready and could effectively interfere with his operation. If that happened, what may be suppressed could be his hope for success. Moreover, Anderson's side would burn down the colorful hostel and mute art studio. not giving away the deity worshipped by the Fantasy Association a chance to intervene. And there was also true god suppression at the Mushu Hospital. But the Great Mother has sent Madame Polly with Ami Bella to be the dean of the hospital. How did they create not even a ripple? Her forces in the Dream City are not limited to the Mushu Hospital, whether it's Grimm, who is originally active outside, or Lu Yong, who can freely enter and exit the hospital. They could avoid the true god suppression of the hospital and do things. Maybe Peng Ding, Grisha, and Amon, who didn't appear in the final stage, were blocking them. I can't even remember. Why did I say Adam or the primordial God Almighty made a child with the mother goddess of depravity? What was the context of that? What made me even have that? What was the logic on it? There's no way I just said it for shits and giggles. There must have been something. Oh, Ami Bella. Yes. So then, maybe what they wanted was just for Ami Bella to be there. Maybe just Ami Bella existing, like, allowed her to, soak up the energy of the Great Old Ones and become stronger and greater. The Great Old One, their pathways grow and shit anyway, so it would kind of logically track that their whole thing was just like, yeah, please, we just want you guys to be in here as long as possible so we can just keep up your energy, Maybe Peng Dang, Grisha, and Amon's side, who didn't appear in the final stage, were blocking them, Jenna said. Possible, Madam Magician said, but I have a bad feeling that perhaps the Great Mother has already achieved her goal, in a way that is in our blind spot. My experience is also that abnormal calmness is always problematic, Mr. Hangman said. The only revelation Mr. Fool gave about matters related to the Mother Goddess of Depravity was become a demoness of an aging, borrow the gift of the land, and face the abscessed hand. After saying this, Lumion had a spiritual perception and turned to his right and pushed open a door. The light behind the door dimmed with no attack coming. What met Lumion's eyes was a coffin. The coffin different from the rectangular coffins used in Trier with obvious curves, one end larger than the other, its surface carved with birds and trees. Isn't this a Western continent-style coffin? Where did Alista get it? Frank asked. She knew that the Western continent had evolved from her home over thousands of years, and judging from the fact that she could barely understand the language of Chen-Tu and its attire, Franca felt the civilization of the Western continent may not have experienced a break in continuity like the southern and northern continents, still maintaining a certain continuity. The coffin style before her seemed to be yet another piece of evidence. As for why, in a situation where civilizations had not been interrupted, the language and style of the Western continent had regressed to what she remembered as ancient, she couldn't think for the time being. All known transmigrators were in the southern and northern continents and the former eastern. No, Queen Mystic had said that the ancient sun god was not the kind of cocoon person like us. There's another transmigrator who hasn't yet revealed their identity. As Franca's thoughts diverged, Lumion and Madam Magician already walked to the front of the Western continent-style black coffin, causing the latter causing the lid to slide to one side, falling to the ground. Franca looked over and saw the beautiful face with tightly closed eyes and pale and cold, gorgeous phoenix crown and rosy cloud cape. A Chinese wedding dress. A bride's corpse? What the hell is Alista Tudor up to? Before the words fell, the coffin with a pattern of pine, cypress, and cranes began to shake violently. A pale, delicate hand with long, grey nails that was sharp and cold pressed against the edge of the coffin. With this action, Frank and Jenna's lips became dry as if they were roasted. Outside the treasury, the Blue Avenger, sailing through fierce winds and waves, plunged down. The wind stopped and the waves calmed and the water vapor rose. On the surface of the ship, the deck began to crack visibly. Even though the consciousness of this ghost ship was constantly repairing, it couldn't stop the trend from deepening. Inside the two-door treasury, in the corresponding room, before Madame Magician could deliver a barrage of attacks on the corpse, LEMMiNO stretched out his palm red and mottled, covered with pallor and a deep pinhole. The corpse, wearing what Franca may call a wedding dress and a phoenix crown, stopped shaking, no longer giving the feeling that it may crawl up at any moment. That delicate but pale hand slid down, returning to the side of the corpse. The power of a demoness of catastrophe, Madame Magician said, and the power of an undying. Can the boons of these two pathways be put together? LEMMiNO looked at the dark pinhole in his hand and said, perhaps they can. A demoness of catastrophe, is that sequence 2 or 1? Sorry, I'm pulling up my notes, I don't remember. Two. Oh. So it's a sequence 2 and 3. So it's a sequence 2 in here. Okay. The thing seemed to be a fusion of the residual aura of Alista Tudor, the boon of a war bishop, the seal of an underworld Taoist, and the greater knowledge of a demoness card. If such a hodgepodge could be put together... 3 undying. 4 is despair. This thing seemed to be a fusion of, but such a hodgepodge could be put together. Oh, undying, oh, unaging. Oh, I'm sorry. Undying, unaging is fucking stupid. Madame Magician and Mr. Hangman fell silent. So this is a sequence 4 of the death pathway and 3 of the demoness. What? Well, Franca associated the term demoness of catastrophe and undying with the state and recent behavior of the corpse. This couldn't be a draught demon, could it? How did the Emperor bring a draught demon to the northern continent? How did he manage that? Isn't it said that the western continent was sealed by the power of the celestial worthy, and the barrier can only be opened for free exit and entry after Mr. Fool gains the upper hand? Yeah, Chris, I know. Before that, shouldn't only some secret deed rituals be possible? Even if Alista opened a passage before his death, attempting to drag down all the gods with him, that passage was sealed in the 4th Epoch Trio, right? And he shouldn't have had time to send this demon to the Blue Avenger. Are female zombies that control fire, weather, and leave no water around them? Ah, thank you, Kami. Hearing these words, Madame Magician said, the power doesn't come from beyond her characteristics. It may originate from the western continent or somewhere else, but the person is from the northern continent. Franca looked carefully and found the hair of the female corpse pale yellow and her features pronounced. An artificial draught demon? Alista made a secret deed for some strange knowledge, and this is the product? If we let her awake, can we help her regain her sanity? She was likely born a monster, Madame Magician said. Meaning the girl in the coffin underwent a transformation the instant she received the power of a demoness of catastrophe and aging. This corpse, now possessing angel-level power, was a monster from the moment it existed. Aren't boons supposed to not affect the spirit, only causing gradual mental and physical alterations? What I explained before was only about boons under normal circumstance. The essence of boons is actually closer to controlled, retrievable corruption. Higher beings who grant boons generally try to suppress the spiritual, conscious, and emotional aspect of their power that belong to themselves to prevent the recipient from being overwhelmed immediately or developing problems, as that would go against the intention of the boon. In the case of evil god boons that we know of, if there weren't enough sacrifices, especially human sacrifices, even if a channel was open through a ritual, some of the recipients at the scene would be unable to bear the power of their bodies and collapse on the ground. When the higher beings that Alista's strange ritual was directed at granted the boon, they didn't control or suppress the consciousness or emotional aspect within the power, letting them exist as normal? So the girl couldn't bear it and became a monster? Do you like the boon system? Fuck no, Seer. It's too much. Cuttlefish, you had a great system in the first book, man. You didn't need to add like another thing on top of it. It's too much. It's just too much. Take the first system. He could have just been a demoness and a hunter, and that would have been great. He could have just said, like, hey, here's this path that, like, you know that you think is evil, that I have told you to think is evil, but let me show you how a good person could use it for good. Having to kill tens of thousands of people for him to become a demigod, but he chooses to only kill, like, the irredeemable is like, genius. Like, okay, wow, he found a way to even go above that, to get around that. Great. And then it's like, why does he need to be a demoness, a hunter, and a fucking his other boon pathway is? Like, I don't know what the sequence here of that is. It may not have been a boon, but a theft, Madam Magician, or Mr. Hangman said. Did a Mon play a role in this? Theft in another sense. Let me give you an example. We can utilize the power of many sealed artifacts to an extent, but we must be careful to avoid the corresponding dangers. Because they lack intelligence, you cannot negotiate with them or make them obey. In such cases, suitable methods of utilization are equivalent to safe means of theft. Lumi nodded. If he hadn't possessed both male and female forms in the Dream City, his physical body may have collapsed and become a monster. He indeed was bloodthirsty and mad, Jenna couldn't help but sigh. Not necessarily, Franca said. Based on my pre-transmigration experience, if this is related to the Western continent, the whole ritual may not be what you imagine. They might have pre-selected a girl born on a specific year, month, day, and time, killed her in a specific way at a specific time, performed special treatment, then placed her in this coffin, made her the arrangement, and specifically conducted the ritual to let her gain power and open her eyes in this state. Why? Jenna asked. I think Cuttlefish, knowing that Lumion gonna start at the bottom, he wanted to bring some kind of new thinking about high sequence fights, give him a headache. Nah, I don't think, like, I'll blow your nose, baby. Franca smiled. It's just my guess, though. Maybe this was the only way to please the corresponding higher being, or maybe this was the only way to avoid the influence of the spiritual and conscious aspect within the boon power. But for some reason, I feel, okay, don't say that. Perhaps because the Blood Emperor and the others made mistakes in interpreting the secret deed they obtained, missing some key points, the ritual failed. Maybe it wasn't even a ritual seeking boon, but rather a method of corpse refinement. Then you say Alista wasn't mad? Jenna said. I'm not saying he wasn't bloodthirsty or mad necessarily, but rather that it may not have been ordinary bloodiness and madness. She has no characteristic. Let's go to the next room, Madam Magician said. Alright. After Magician and made the coffin fly up and cover it, they returned to the corridor. Lumin raised his palm and looked at the spot on his right palm. Maintaining his posture, Lumin started walking again. Are challenging? He felt that after encountering the female corpse was likely due to the effects of the right palm, so now he needed to try to eliminate the influence. After about 10 seconds, Lumin opened another door and saw a spring its bubbling surface. The spring water had secret feeling, emitting an alluring aura, and a pure, making Franca and Jenna, whose mouths had dried, suddenly feel thirsty. They then heard voices. Drink and regain your youth. Drink and gain tremendous power. Drink and extend your life by 1,000 years. Drink and become irresistibly charming. Drink and achieve immortality. Lumin was also tempted, and hearing the whispers, smiled. Don't worry, I will drink. I came here to drink. Before he could emphasize it, he was a person who valued ceremony. Madam Magician had already acted. Layers upon layers of the void peeled away, and the clear and pure spring water receded, revealing what was inside the source. A highly decomposed, yet not skeletal female's corpse, and a pale yellow-green pus seeping from its disgusting flesh. The source of the spring water. Magician raised both her hands, and the glass-like fragments and blood tinged with yellow pale flew out of the corpse, falling into the 2 containers that had floated up in midair. After doing this, Magician said, they can replace the mirror god fragments and Medusa's blood, enough for 4 advancements. Huge! After Lumin put away the container, the points of starlight condensed from the void pressed down, crushing the corpse, making the charming, grayish-white light recede and separate out, a fist-sized spring crystal. Wait, are Franca and Klein both gonna become Sequence 3 then? Because Franca's also fully digested, no? Is she gonna return to the Hunter pathway though? With a push, Madam Magician's right hand on this demoness of unaging characteristic quickly came before Lumion, already preliminarily sealed. Your characteristic, the light emanating from the female corpse hadn't dissipated, and the remaining portion recombined to form a transparent eye. Your demoness of despair characteristic, Madam Magician said to Jenna. As for the supplementary ingredients, the chariot and the 2 of cups should still have some. Dude, she's such a bum bitch. She said, I will help you all advance. And now said, oh, well, they'll give you the supplementaries. Fuck them. I'm not shelling out for it. You know, I used all my royalties with this. Have you tasted how good this fucking wine is? I'm taking the characteristic from his ship. You're giving the supplementary. And I did all the work, of course. Bitch! The fuck you do here? Thank you, Jenna said, putting the characteristic into her traveler bag, feeling somewhat peeved that her own friends had to provide the supplementary ingredients. Madam Magician nodded and walked out of the current room. Let's go find the next ingredient. This time, 2 of cups, you are in charge. Just as Franca was about to step forward, she saw Lumion hand over a piece of parchment. On the parchment were words rusted in rust color. Potion name, War Bishop. Sequence 3, heart of a bipolar centaur. Core of a war comet. Supplementary ingredients, 100 milliliters of bipolar centaur blood. War comet fragments. 1 blood Tudor iris. And 8 grams of flame giant tree bark. She just saved them from the spring water. Hatred is clouding your eyes. No. Advancement ritual. Lead your own team to defeat a powerful enemy in war. Note, the imminent atmosphere of war will bring comets symbolizing war through the spirit world, streaking across the sky, bringing revelations. But among such comets, those with corporeal substance can enter the real world, limited in number. In the ritual, the stronger the force, the better the ritual effect. Where did this come from? Frank asked. The advancement was promised by the Major Arcana, and Mr. Fool gave me an extra reward. I asked for the War Bishop formula. I wanted you to have the right to choose. I didn't say I want to be a war bishop. I still have my mission. Lumi didn't try to persuade and put the parchment back. Jenna's eyes, now slightly complex, as she secretly sighed in relief. Things are good as they are now. She didn't want change. In fact, she feared it. Because the magician and the hangman were present, Franca didn't dare tell Lumi, and usually just make people grit their teeth and expect it to be so considerate. She could only walk forward and push open a door of light. Suddenly, a door opened and a beautiful human skin fell from above. The skin shook violently and attempted to envelop Franca. Franca's body surface subsequently emanated a grayish-white color and her whole person seeming to turn to stone, unable to dodge. At this moment, the darkness bent and folded, sealing that human skin within, and Madam Magician's hand clenched. This is also a demoness of an aging characteristic. The Alista Tudor and Primordial Demoness's secret cooperation was indeed tight. Tight, tight, tight! Just keep bringing me those! Franca was stunned and smiled. I sure have good luck today. Just one try. After Franca put away the demoness of an aging characteristic that had coalesced after being shattered, Madam Magician said, apart from some easier to find materials that are symbolic, everything else we should have. What remains is the rituals, and I can help any time. Thank you. Should we leave now? Lumion asked. Angel-level characteristics, especially Sequence 1, are not limited, but are not only very limited, but very rare. Their locations are relatively certain. If there were anything similar in this treasure trove, it could only be Sequence 2, and most likely of the Hunter Path. As long as Alista Tudor's resurrection arrangements, the corresponding Beyonder characteristic is behind that mirror, together with his mirror person, perhaps even already absorbed and merged by the mirror person. In other words, it was almost impossible to find an angel-level characteristic including a sequence Grade 0 artifact in other rooms along the corridor, so Lumin and the others had no need to continue exploring. Of course, this was only one of the reasons. Another one was that the Blue Avenger belonged to Mr. Hangman, and theoretically, the treasure vaults were also his. He only had allowed Lumion and the others to take the corresponding materials based on an earlier promise, and if Lumion and the others were to keep opening doors and take items, it would be far too disrespectful. Though Madam Magician didn't explicitly state this, everyone understood. Mr. Hangman nodded and said, "You may return through the mirror world. Madam Magician and I still have some matters to attend to." "Okay," Lumion replied. As the captain of the Blue Avenger, Mr. Hangman had no Tudor remnant aura, no corresponding bloodline, and wasn't a hunter or a demoness. Though guarding a treasure vault, he had difficulty entering it and could only wait for Lumion to open the access control. Only with Magician's positioning and help could he enter. Of course, he couldn't miss the opportunity to explore a bit and take some items. These may be a grade 1 sealed artifact that could improve his strength, or characteristic related that could him cultivate more and stronger subordinates, or items that could be useful at critical moments. How others explored their own vaults was none of their business. Lumion took out a mirror and let Franca and Jenna out of the vault, teleporting to a villa in Trier. Since the matter of Madame Polly and Amibella were under investigation, Lumion had to return to his original rented apartment to meet with Lugano, still wary of issues. "Where's Ludwig?" Jenna pointed to the living room and asked Anthony. "In the kitchen. After eating Trier's food for a few days, he misses the food of the Dream City and wants to try making some." "I miss it too," Franca said. "Look, this is what a professional chef is like, just 8 years old." They saw Ludwig move a chair into the kitchen, standing on it, struggling to handle kitchen utensils that didn't match his size. "I'm going to the telegraph office nearby to send a telegram to Julian," Jenna said. "He's coming back to Trier next week, and I need to ask about specific times and whether he's taking the boat or this train." Once Lumion became a Sequence 3 and borrowed the Gift of the Land after communicating well with the Tarot Club and the Church of Knowledge, Lumion would then take Jenna to the City of Exiles to advance using the criminals. The only problem with this plan was that once Jenna had advanced, she would become a Sequence 4, which conflicted with Marora's rules and would cause negative changes. The current solution was to ask the Church of Knowledge, assisting Madam Magician, so this Door Pathway Angel could transfer the newly advanced Jenna away directly. Lumion had privately asked Jenna if she wanted to consider using the Sword of Courage to switch to becoming an Iron-Blooded Knight. With the current team composition and rapport, the corresponding ritual wouldn't be difficult, and after some adjusting. But Jenna had hoped to continue on the path of a demoness, telling Lumion that this was currently her only special trait as a pure female demoness, and once she switched, she would lose it. Special traits represented both unknown risks and potential gains. With the apocalypse arriving early, she was willing to take the corresponding risk in exchange for rapid sequence and power growth to protect those she loved. Fortune favors the bold. Do you want to continue with the Psychology Alchemist mission? Lumion said to Anthony. Anthony had already been assigned to Lumion, the new Mr. Chariot, and could stop the original mission given by Madam Justice. Before Anthony could respond, Lumion laughed. You're about to become a Sequence 4. Those people who play with people's minds won't let a demigod not cultivated by their own enter their core levels. Anthony had digested the Sequence 5 potion faster than Lumion and the others because during this time he'd been actively walking and working in a great existence's true dream. What could be a better dream walker? About to, Lumion asked. Had they given him the ingredients already? Surely not, right? If that were the case, Madame Susie would have been a demigod long ago. Madam Justice had been searching for an ancient dragon. She's had some results but kept missing it, and after Mr. Fool awoke, he gave her a revelation that should be useful. We may have results soon. I wish to continue my contact with the alchemists, but no longer seek to enter their core levels. After becoming a demigod, I will hide my sequence and deal with them in my current state. A very good intel channel that I don't wish to give up. Okay, Lumion said. Walking in on the carpet, Lumion turned to Franca. You no longer need to do the Demoness mission. How high are the group going to progress? Great old one for Lumion. Fuck, dude. I keep wanting to call him Klein, even now. Great old one. Franca reaches sequence. At this point, it's looking like 2. I feel like she touches. I feel like she touches Angel. Jenna, I think, goes to 3. Maybe just 4. Maybe just 4. 3 or 4. She doesn't touch Angel, though. Anthony goes to sequence 4 and says, I'm a great manipulator. Yeet. No. Anthony's kind of been goated with the sauce. He's going to go to 3. Anthony's going to go to 3. Jenna might be 3 or 4. Anthony's goated with the sauce. He's going to 3. Anthony's goated with the sauce. He's going to 3. I can feel it. I feel it in my bones. I don't feel too much in my bones because I'm slightly sick, but you know what I mean. Ludwig returns to his initial strength as an angel. Deaditz is doing Mr. Beast videos. Deaditz is dead, bro. Don't you remember? He got fucking strung up like a jelly bean. Since you've chosen this path, I think figuring out the situation with the Demoness and the secrets of the special mirror world are inevitable tasks. None of these can bypass the Demoness sect, Franca said, and whether or not I've been exposed, even if they wish to use me or set traps, it's still a good entry point. Lumion looked at Franca. Are you moved? Franca asked. Yes. Oh, aren't you being stubborn? No, I don't know what to do. Actually, Jenna continuing on the Demoness path also involves this kind of thinking. Let me ask you a question, purely out of curiosity. If you briefly use the War Bishop power within the seal, will your body change? Normally, physical changes brought about by a boon's power, as long as they didn't cause immediate collapse, occur gradually, subtly over time. But the boon power of both a hunter and a demoness inherently possess the quality of changing your body. Yes, the body will, but the spirit won't, LEMMiNO replied. Taking potions to change gender would affect the spirit. Like Franca, when her spirit astral projection roamed the spirit world and her form also female. But changes brought about by boons were limited to mind and body, meaning that even if LEMMiNO returned to a male state, his spirit would still appear as LEMMiNO. Can you try it? Let me see, Franca became excited. If this worked, she could seek a corresponding boon. Then she could be a man when she wanted to be and a woman when she wanted to be, and neither if she preferred. After all, LEMMiNO's goal was to resurrect Aurora, which meant he would reach very high levels, and seeking temporary boons from him wouldn't have any dangers. Before LEMMiNO could respond, Franca shook her head. Never mind. The lie earring using corresponding powers to change the body without pain, but changes brought about by this kind of power itself. They're forced and uncontrollable. Must be painful. Never mind. You've been both a demoness of affliction and despair. What are you afraid of? LEMMiNO teased. As his body changed, there was both a writhing of flesh and a creaking of bones, and suddenly LEMMiNO's face contorted before returning to his original male appearance, but more handsome, even more masculine. It works, Franca watched. Can you close your eyes? LEMMiNO closed them. Well, we all know you see your female body as your sister's, and unless she agrees, you won't do anything suggestive. We respect your thoughts in Aurora. But sometimes we want to see and hug LEMMiNO. A peaceful, serene, sweet moment of entanglement. LEMMiNO opened his eyes and saw that suddenly she was a little taller than him. LEMMiNO looked down and saw layers of ice steps had formed beneath Franca's feet. This time, I took the initiative. Change back now. Minimize the influence of the boon. Franca jumped back. She then pressed her lips together and clapped once more and said, with the apocalypse approaching and everyone, let's just make do for now. As the office in the arts district, still wearing her son, a hat and black veil, Jenna paid the telegram fee and gazed at the constant tinkling sounds next door. What are they renovating? She muttered. The telephone office, the telegrapher said. They say they want to develop wired telephones extensively. Can they really lay lines to so many places? In the end, they'll have to rely on wireless. Yes, mobile phones should also be a type of wireless, Jenna realized. She was looking forward to the development of telephones in TESS. That way they could communicate in real time instead of having to go through the trouble of sending and receiving telegrams. Walking out of the telegraph office, do you think Stiano from the dream was like, yo, this is cool shit, let's try to fucking bring this shit over here. You're the god of steam and machinery, bro. Build some fucking machinery, you bum bitch. Jesus. Extra, extra, read all about it. Miss Fours promises to finalize the Great Adventure 7 within 2 weeks. Extra, extra, read all about it. The large generator manufactured by the Church of Steam Deep Valley Cloister has entered the factory production stage. Large generator. Jenna paused for a moment, her gaze drawn to the horse-drawn trams on the road, women wearing different styles of sun hats and men carrying canes and wearing top hats. This hardly looked like a scene approaching the apocalypse. Dude, this woman has the most fucking majestic voice. I feel like I say this every time this fucking OST comes up, but holy shit! Whoever this lady's husband is, fucking cherish this woman. Oh my god, she's a gift to humanity. In a luxurious villa, Lumen stood before a full-length mirror, staring motionlessly at the beautiful face that was both familiar and strange. He was waiting, patiently, for the reflection to smile on its own and to show some sort of expression. One of the major difficulties in the demoness of an aging advancement ritual was finding one's mirror person, not something they could encounter just by wanting to. The connection between a demoness and their mirror person served both as a locating aid and as an alarm that allowed the other party to detect danger early and relocate. Moreover, according to the actual experience and daily observations of the demonesses, the stable mirror people born from becoming demonesses were different from the mirror people in the special mirror worlds. Under normal circumstance, the demonesses' mirror people would not leave the mirror world, and once they entered reality, it meant there was a major problem. We'll still need to ask Madam Magician for help about positioning and containment, Lumion said. After a moment, Madam Magician appeared. Where's the Two of Cups? She asked. She went to meet with a subordinate, preparing for tomorrow's meeting with the Demoness of Black. She's still continuing with the Demoness sect? At the Sequence 4 stage, the Demoness of Despair only provides potions and prepares ritual. How will the Two of Cups explain how she was able to advance to a Demoness of Despair? Where the potion formula and ingredients came from, how the ritual was completed. Nothing needed. Her advancement was completed under the Demoness's watch, and these past few days she often takes out that white bone figurine and places it beside her, with no abnormalities or dangers. Lumen explained, this situation makes her feel she still has value to the Demoness sect, or rather, to the Primordial, and when the time comes, she can make up a convincing reason that the Demoness of Black should believe, such as divine bestowal. She can take the opportunity to learn more knowledge about the mirror people from the Demoness of Black, which may prove useful in the upcoming ritual. This is dangerous, Fours said. We know. When she goes to meet her, remember to notify me. I will provide protection. Thank you, Lumen said, then asked, why did you come over? Something wrong? To have a small meeting. A small meeting? A small meeting means a private exchange without Mr. Fool, but still held in the place of the grey fog. Previously it was fixed at once a month, but now that formal meetings have resumed and are fixed for 3 p.m. on the first Monday of each month, we can't obviously continue the small meetings the same way. They may become more impromptu in nature, specifically convened for special purposes. This discussion, is it to unify the major arcana's understanding of Gehrman? Yes. In 30 minutes, recite Mr. Fool's name. Half an hour later, Lumin recited Mr. Fool's honorific name and once again arrived above the grey fog. In his eyes, streaks of light were rising, condensing into slightly blurred figures, and in less than a minute all the major arcana holders were present. The magician began to speak. I have returned from the Two of Cups. She compared the current Mr. Fool, or rather Gehrman's image, to an AI. After roughly repeating Franca's original words, she said, I think it makes sense. We must unify our understanding of Gehrman to minimize the corruption. The fundamental and widespread public perception of Gehrman doesn't need to be changed and cannot be, at least in the short term. These themselves don't contain contradictions. What we need to do is make Gehrman beneath this shell closer to Mr. Fool's true self and ensure there are no contradictions. Since we wish to unify this, we must start with ourselves. If our own understandings differ and contain contradictions, it will affect later corrections. Then let us share our first impressions of Mr. Fool and Gehrman, record them and discuss which are correct and which to unify. Who wishes to begin? Madam Justice looked at Madam Magician and Mr. Star, finding that the former showed hints of fear, seemingly afraid to speak or listen, while the latter kept his mouth shut, appearing hesitant, unsure which things could be said and which shouldn't. The chariot clicked his tongue and shook his head. What are you talking about? Mr. Moon took the opportunity to ask. Lumin chuckled. I'm imagining how I would feel if a group of people were discussing what kind of person I am behind my back, each with different impressions. Embarrassed? Mr. Fool asked. Or Mr. Moon asked. I don't know if others would be embarrassed, but for myself, I'd probably be excited, find it fun, and wish I could sneak in to listen. Mr. Moon raised his hand and touched his face, and looked at the huge chair at the head of the table, confirming that neither Mr. Fool nor Mr. Wold was present. Unhinged, are you okay? Are you dying? You okay? If it were the Sherlock Moriarty in my impression, he would genuinely be embarrassed, but if it were Gehrman, he would maintain a cold expression and making it impossible to tell what he thinks. After speaking, he found that the major arcana holders were all looking at him, and seeing this, LEMMiNO chuckled and muttered to himself, "See? Someone to kick things off has volunteered," and Mr. Moon froze, and seeing everyone waiting for him to continue, he had no choice but to. I haven't had much interaction with Gehrman. It was mainly above the grey fog. Many of my impressions come from rumor, centered around words like cold, powerful, and quick to action. Comparatively, I know Sherlock much better. He's quite perceptive, fairly vigilant, and very concerned with money. But judging from his behavior at the church, he is quite caring and possesses a true gentleman's sense of humor. After speaking in one breath, Mr. Moon raised his chin and said, as if to say, "Your guys' turn." "I'll go," Madam Justice said. "I was once Mr. World psychiatrist, provided him with the corresponding treatment, and even entered the Hall of Truth with him, hearing many of his inner thoughts." Upon catching the term Hall of Truth, Mr. Starr adjusted his sitting posture unconsciously. All the major arcana holders, including Lumion, turned to look at her, and Madam Justice spoke steadily. "My deepest impression of Mr. World was that he was truly lonely. He had many things in his heart, weighing on his shoulders. But he could still control himself, not indulging, not despairing, not acting willfully, not becoming distorted. What Mr. Fool said is correct. He indeed was a very caring person, his heart gentle, and his cold, tough exterior a simple facade." Madam Justice's voice echoed across the table. Though outwardly quiet and reserved, he actually likes to joke and tease in his mind, and even occasionally rambles. Madam Magician's head filled with tension. Thoughts flashing through her mind, thinking, am I even allowed to hear this? If Gehrman hears I'm listening, what he's really like. Would he kill me? Those are my impressions, Madam Justice concluded. Madam Magician sighed, and after calming down, she carefully thought that if Gehrman was really as she described, then perhaps he wouldn't use violent means to eliminate people who knew his true good nature. Seeing Justice had said so much, Mr. Starr leaned in his chair as if trying to enter a relaxed state, and intoned, "He is a learned person, and this is reflected in more than just his university history grad. In supernatural events he was green at first, but quickly became skilled, becoming someone people could rely on. He's not comfortable getting close to others, always maintaining a distance, appearing as if he fears loss and doesn't wish to gain a thing, but in reality, he values relationships deeply and inevitably relaxes over time, gradually integrating and building friendships. He's calm but not introverted, can take jokes and has a sense of humor, values life and is willing to enjoy, but doesn't like waste. He's cautious, perhaps due to the influence of the seer path, completely deserving to be called very cautious. When encountering matters that aren't urgent and won't cause immediate harm, he chooses the most conservative response, leaving first or waiting for backup. But if a disaster is pressing and will affect others, even if he is not the most powerful present, he is willing to step forward and try to resolve it despite the risks. He values his family and is more relaxed around them, and shows some of the personality traits Madam Justice has described. He's the best brother, both younger and older, and the best colleague. And after Mr. Starr finished speaking, the majestic palace remained silent until everyone, except Madam Magician, turned his gaze towards her. My impression of Gehrman can be read in the Great Adventurer's novel. If I really must summarize: cold, powerful, mysterious, and will kill people on the spot if they say a wrong thing, but very reliable. When you are with him, the only thing you need to be worried about is if he may eliminate you. No need to worry about a thing else. You're closer to teasing than stating fact with that last bit. I can hear that you're afraid, yet you still insist on teasing him. Is this the nature of you writers? Lumion thought internally. After speaking, Madam Magician turned her gaze to Mr. Hanged Man. I hadn't had much contact with any of Mr. Fool's identities, and some I haven't met at all, so I can only speak briefly. An experienced, intelligent adventurer, his luck seems quite good. not actually as cold and hard as his exterior suggests, willing to listen to others' opinions and respect their appearance. After the hangman finished, Madame Judgment, who appeared small, who, compared to her chair, shared her understanding. Most of my impressions of Gehrman come from Madame Magician. There is no need to repeat them. I've had the most contact with the identity of Dwayne. He is mature, cultured, wealthy, but very mysterious and unusual, and with unusual things always happening around him. Well, he also has a kind heart, does charity work with genuine desire to help others, and treats his male and female servants not just with surface politeness, but actually without arrogance or discrimination. This is one of the sides of Mr. Fool, especially certain details that truly reflect his inner nature. Madame Justice memorized what everyone was saying. Mr. Sun then spoke, powerful but not arrogant, cold but not heartless. He practices all that is righteous and is willing to take great risks to help people that are actually of no use to him. He is light in the dark, a guide walking ahead, an angel sheltering humans. A more religious description with more extreme, pure emotion, as expected of the Pope of the Church. Madame Hermit pushed up her glasses and said, a very capable adventurer who can always respond most appropriately to the most unexpected of situations. He also yearns for something and gazes at the setting sun, and at such times I can feel his loneliness. What he wants to grasp seems to be in a very distant, unreachable place. Also, a mysterious, powerful, and reliable companion. The chariot. Illumian, whose figure was still blurred but recognizably female, thought and said, I've never had any real contact with any of Mr. Fool's identities in the real world. My impressions of him all come from the materials you have provided. I can only speak from my interaction with Mr. Fool through the Dream City. Guardian. Mr. Starr, sitting beside him, suddenly spoke. A guardian, fighting against the threats and madness. Lumi nodded, strongly agreeing with this description, especially after learning the Celestial Worthy's imprint was indelible and eternal. This resonated with the other major arcana holders as well, and everyone fell silent. After a brief moment, Lumion added, gentle, kind, elder brother, teacher, friend, a person with stories, a deity with humanity. He values family and friends greatly, probably very much wants to return to the era he truly belongs, to return to the home buried in history, and is lonely because of this, often sad and in pain, and the only family and friends he acknowledges can help him find meaning in his life. On the one hand, detachment, and on the other, a deeper appreciation for life's experiences, willing to experience beauty. As he spoke, Lumin stopped, feeling. He felt the more he felt, because he felt that the more he said, the more he was thinking about how Aurora was the same, and he was worried he may mix up some of Aurora's characteristics with Mr. Fool, affecting his summary. So it is indeed like this. Madame Judgment felt some of her private speculations and judgments made her understanding the truth about the transmigration were confirmed. After memorizing, she felt that Gehrman's image had indeed become more grounded and detailed and well-rounded. At this point, Madame Temperance, who couldn't speak easily due to her sequence limitation, displayed the papers she had been writing on. My impressions were brave, decisive, extremely fast growth, reliable, and increasingly capable. And gentle, cultured, kind, rational, has a sense of justice, pursues fairness, and has sufficient sympathy for those in suffering and poverty, and is willing to help and has a heart of mercy. Currently, the public's mainstream impression of Gehrman focuses on several labels, Madame Justice said. Great adventurer, cold, powerful, angel of redemption, Mr. Fool's proxy, and the pirate killer. We needn't change these. What we need to do is make these labels richer, more detailed, and show the complexity of his nature. The early impression of Gehrman was that he was a lunatic, had basically faded after the Church of the Fool publicized the matter of redemption. Let's now start summarizing and unifying our understanding. The first word I wish to propose is guardian. and no one had any objections to this. After multiple discussions, they had reached a unified understanding of Gehrman's image. Powerful, cautious, mysterious, loves money but is generous, gentle at heart, merciful, redeems suffering, values family and relationships, misses his home, and is Mr. Fool's proxy. They didn't add all the details to make it richer, as that would make it difficult to spread and easy to misinterpret. Madam Magician thought for a moment and said, I think we can add that he has rich inner thoughts, likes to ramble and joke and tease in his mind. For the novel's text, this would be interesting, and this could also be the true Gehrman. That works, Madam Justice looked at Madam Magician and smiled. Then I will trouble you to complete the next book within 2 weeks. Okay. Madam Magician's body stiffened because she wished to be a bum bitch for a bit longer, but she forced a smile and said, I've even thought of the promotional tagline. Want to see a more vivid and humane Gehrman? Chris, where do I have to go to today? 45, is it? What? I don't know if I can do that, bro. I'll try, but I don't think I got it like that. Brother, I don't think I got it like that. It's fine, it's fine. I just have to, it is peak, but I have to actually play peak with some folks at 10 p.m. I got an hour and a half. It's fine. It's fine. I can do 7 chapters in an hour and a half. I got this. Whether or not the Demoness of Black provided the corresponding mystical knowledge, you should perform the ritual in the next 2 days. I will help you forcefully locate and lock onto your mirror person. After this is done, I'll need to focus on meeting my deadline. Don't tell me you haven't even started writing yet. Not a single word? When you said above the grey fog that you'd even thought of the promotional tagline, did you just make that up on the spot? Lumin pondered. At the end of yesterday's small meeting, Madam Magician had proposed in front of all the major arcana holders that she would deliver the manuscript within 2 weeks. The major arcana holders all expressed that they would quickly adjust Gehrman's image within their own sphere of influence. Mr. Sun had gathered bishops from every parish and batches to undergo intensive theological training and adding the corresponding interpretations and descriptions to their sermons. Before Lumin could respond, a magician added, if you're really not ready to perform the ritual, we can wait until 2 weeks later. I'm ready, Lumin said. At this time, Franca arrived at the estate that grew grapes. She saw, once again, brown Sauron with her orange-red hair, clean and pure-shaven face. Long time no see, Franca smiled. You seem to have grown more beautiful, Brown stopped. You too, Franca observed Brown's, noticing that her orange hair had become slightly darker, her features more delicate, and a touch of wilderness in her demeanor. I'm now a demoness of affliction. If this were at sea, you'd have a chance to call me an admiral, Franca complimented. What do you call that? Having class. But I feel like in recent years, Sequence 5 has become increasingly less valuable, Brown said. I agree. When the apocalypse comes, except for a few special saints, perhaps only angels will be able to make a difference, Franca thought. The two demonesses chatted casually as they went deeper into the estate, arriving at the round pavilion. The Demoness of Black, wearing a deep blue hat, her face partially obscured by a veil. Teacher, Franca is here, Brown said. Good morning, madame, Franca greeted. I have become a demoness of despair under the god's watch. A demigod? When Browns first met Franca, they were both demonesses of pleasure, and in over 6 months she had become a demigod? How? A Sequence 4, Demoness of Despair, even within the entire demoness sect, their numbers were quite limited, worthy of being called a high ranker. You know what high ranker reminds me of? Wow, it has been so long since I've read it. I really need to get caught up, dude. Tower of God. Wow, I had so much fun reading that. Come here, you're so good, dude. You're so good. Aw, I don't deserve you, Kami. You're so good, dude. It's on hiatus? Really? Jeez, man. I'm reading it one day when I feel like it's so long, but it's so good. Oh my god. The Hell arc. Oh. The Demoness of Black showed no obvious emotional fluctuation and only nodded at Franca and said, "Thank you. Thank God for her favor. Thank the Primordial One's grace." Uzek Masino. Oh, the Uzek Masino side story. I did know about this. You're right. The Hell Train arc. Yeah. And that was such a good arc, Kami. What? She accepted it just like that. Has the primordial demoness given her revelation? Franca, who was prepared to flee at a moment's notice, wanted to get whatever benefit she could, and said, "After becoming a demoness of despair, I feel my connection with the mirror person has deepened and has undergone some kind of mutation. Can you tell me in detail the knowledge related to mirror person?" The demoness glanced at Franca and said, "After gaining godhood, you indeed should pay attention to such matters. The mirror people of the demonesses have always believed that they are the original who was separated after drinking the witch potion, imprisoned in the mirror realm, serving as a substitute and mirror magic medium. If you with your godhood believe this, your soul, personality, and spirit will become incomplete. Not only will you never have hope of reaching a higher sequence, but you'll also have many problems in your day-to-day and risk losing control. A demoness's mirror person is essentially a product of the combination of potion power and mirror world rules, closer to a spiritual imprint and a soul projection. This is completely different from Morin saying that demoness's true selves dwell in the mirror. I do prefer this explanation, though. But she likely hasn't revealed the whole truth. For example, why is a spiritual imprint and soul projection in a male state? After becoming a witch, both body and soul have changed. Well, Morin is a mirror person. His viewpoints and perspective must be biased too. So combine the two, Franca thought. This is one of the reasons why males are more suited to the demoness path, the Demoness of Black said. To further utilize the mirror world, one must inevitably face their own mirror person, and the male demoness's mirror person is male. Extreme, vengeful, hateful, males in pain who will be better attracted by a demoness's charm, thereby become infatuated with us, hating and obeying. A female demoness's mirror person have stronger replacement desires and are harder to control. What? Seriously? You were able to become a demoness of unaging because you charmed your mirror self to fall in love with you? Though it pisses me off when Ulrich is... Dude, Ulrich Mazzino is genuinely so fucking annoying. Because whenever he shows up, it's genuinely like, Ulrich Mazzino is here. He is damn near a fucking god. He could probably kill an administrator. He is true. And then he's like, "Sup, bitches," and leaves. You're like, what? What? He's like, I can't, it's been a while since I read Tower of God, but it's like, oh, I'm working on something with my secret organization, and leaves. And we're like, bro, what are you, we've been reading this fucking thing for like a decade. What the fuck are you doing? Stop. Urek, you're not the big Yahoo, okay? It wouldn't have taken him a decade to do whatever you're looking to do. You're being a bum bitch. I do remember there was one time, very briefly, that he helped, though. There was like one time when he actually did something. Like, I can't remember if he provided cover or he like, I don't know, he did something. I don't know, it's been so long since I've read it, dude. And it was so long, I was like going chapter after chapter, so it all like melds together. I feel like there was one time where I was like, yo, he's doing stuff. And then he did like one thing and we were like, that's goated. And then he left and fucking never came back again. Eventually, we will have to face our own mirror person, Franca thought. Will he be willing to meet me? I feel he will deliberately avoid me due to our mystical connection. They will avoid you, although our mirror person will continuously grow stronger and as our strength increases, being equivalent to a copy of our abilities. But as a demoness's mirror person, they are naturally restricted, constrained, and weakened, like prisoners wearing shackles. Unable to be our match, unlikely to do so, so they will choose to avoid us. Only when you are weak enough and there are no traps will you see them, face them. Remember, what you know, he knows. In Underground Trier, I entered a special mirror world and encountered my own mirror person. That time, he faced me directly, without avoiding me. Franca pondered and said, this mirror person in the special mirror world is different from a demoness's mirror person in the broader mirror world. What is useful to us is the latter. Oh, it's like this in the fucking side stories? Bro, what? What do you mean? Oh, you know who I actually hate more than him? Is it like there's a name. Phantom? There was like a guy that they talk about, they're like, he's such a legend. He is faded into fucking obscurity, but we still remember his fucking deeds. And you're like, who the fuck is this guy? And he's never shown up, ever. You're like, who the fuck? He might be the guy who genuinely killed... Phantom? The guy who killed... I feel like he was the guy who actually genuinely killed a fucking administrator, no? He was like the one guy who ever killed an administrator. Is he number 1? I don't know. I don't remember the rankings, dude. I just know like Ulrich is like 3 or 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know, something like this. Oh, that was 2? Oh, number 2 killed a... Oh, number 2 killed an administrator. Okay. Fuck, dude, okay, shut, fucking, stop. Okay, stop talking about power of God. I'm never gonna fucking finish these. Louis from the Emperor Party was very frustrated for a while, seemingly unable to contact some important figures, but recently he's back to normal, showing no similar behavior. Very good, keep watching them, the Demoness of Black said. Franca received permission after taking her leave. Phantom is a literal god? What? Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. The guy who killed an administrator was... I know this. I got it. I had it. Stop. Enryu. He was like... Because I always thought that name made him sound like a dragon. Franca detailed the mystical knowledge taught by the Demoness of Black to Lumion and Jenna. Are we performing the ritual today? Madam Magician asked. We can try. We'll only know the problems after we try. Lumion stood up. No need to rush. Wait for me, Madam Magician smiled. As they finished speaking, the Major Arcana holder opened an illusory door and walked through. Soon after, she returned. She changed her clothes, wearing a deep black warlock's robe. Look in the mirror, then use mirror substitution, Madam Magician said. Under Franca and Jenna's gaze, Lumion walked into the full-length mirror in the bedroom. Looking at the enchanting demoness in the reflection, he maintained a cold expression. When the numerous cracking sounds rang out, the stars on Magician's warlock began to grow. The surrounding darkness spread, and an illusory star descended. The brilliant stars moved rapidly, forming a directional, complex key. This was forcibly located by borrowing the mystical connection between Lumion and the mirror person. In just a second or two, Madam Magician said, "Found him!" Countless starlight fell. "I've confined the target. Go," Madam Magician said to Lumion. Lumin nodded, stepped on the full-length mirror, and following the starlight's guidance traversed into the depths of the mirror world. The endless darkness around seemed frozen, and the points of starlight moving through it like liquid flowing through various vessels in an illusory tunnel, helping Lumin traverse without losing his way. In just about 10 seconds, Lumin arrived at an area where the void was dark and heavy. With his arrival, this guiding starlight ahead coalesced into a dreamlike door upon the eggshell. As soon as Lumin passed through, he saw a familiar figure, himself in a male state. Well, well, having an angel's help does make a difference. Lumin's mirror person gave a thumbs up. If an angel promises to help and you don't use their power, wouldn't that make you rather stupid? Lumin scoffed. What are you here for? To reconcile with you. If you're unwilling, I'll beat you into submission. Okay. That's simple? Lumin raised an eyebrow. I'd rather replace you, but that would require your agreement too. If there's no other way that could be considered, Lumin smiled. You're essentially the same. The current me. The current me? Lumin was partly concerned his mirror self had schemes and partly wanted to explore more knowledge to help Franca and the others. After consuming the witch or higher sequence and stabilizing the birth of a mirror person, essentially a split of a self occurs during the ritual, dividing into the me in the mirror and the me outside, the me of the original gender and the me of the current. When you become a demoness of despair, you still have the inevitability boon, which caused a slight change in the split in me. In the mirror is the me of the original gender and also the past me, and while the me outside is the me of the current gender and the present me. This is my personal experience and feeling. It may not be entirely correct. If we reconcile, will we form the future me? Perhaps. Who could have experience with this? Let's hurry up, don't waste time. If I replace you, the ritual would definitely fail because the soul gender would be different. Then we'd forever remain at the Demoness of Despair sequence unless we switch to War Bishop. That is one path, but given the situation, it'd waste too much time. Time waits for no one. Becoming a demoness of unaging is crucial to reviving Aurora. The sooner we take it, the better. You wish to reconcile because reviving Aurora is important? Or, what do you think, you're so charming? The mirrored Lumin mocked. We are the same. Apart from hating you and cursing you and wishing to replace you, I have no differences. But none of that matters. Indeed. None of that matters. Lumin smiled and walked to his mirror self, extending his hand. Since replacing you isn't the most important thing, between reconciliation, being enslaved, and being infatuated, I suppose I'll choose reconciliation. He extended his hand, and a broad, strong hand, with bronze-colored skin, and the two, noticeably different in size, clasped together. Lumin felt the connection between them entangle, as if forming ropes. In his eyes, his face twisted. Son of a bitch, the mirror person cursed. Do you know that every time you use mirror substitution, I die once and then split off from you? You piece of shit! Switch places! Let you experience it! Trapped in this pitch black hellhole, no one to talk to. I've nearly gone fucking insane and Aurora isn't even back yet. I am happy when you suffer, so you have times like that too. But I suffer while being happy because what causes you pain makes me feel pain, and when you're in despair, I'm in despair. Sometimes I think letting me replace you to face all this. I'd rather die a few more times. My little cabbage. Why can't you be happier? Enjoy more. Make me jealous. Make me want to replace you. His own self is like, damn bro, you're so fucking miserable. Be happier. You know what this is giving me? Ichigo. Do you know the despair of being rained upon in this lonely world? And the two of them reconciling is just him going, if you believe in me, I will give you the strength to make sure it never rains again. Lumin listened to his mirror self's angry curses without suppressing the waves of emotions in his heart. The two people in their handshake hadn't moved forward, yet they seemed to be getting closer. At this moment, Lumin stopped cursing. We must revive Aurora. Otherwise, I won't let you off even as a fucking ghost. I won't let me off either. soon as he finished speaking, he felt his perspective change. He saw his female self with eyes as clear as Highland Lake, features so bright and dignified, his face no longer twisting. And at that moment, Lumion had an understanding. Using the help of the demoness Spider Silk, he took out the white hand from the traveler bag of the demoness of an aging characteristic that resembled a transparent spring eye. In different parts of corpses to replace mere god fragments and gorgon blood, drops of water from drowned people's lungs collected over these days, and an antique mirror from the early 5th epoch. Under the guidance of the Spider Silk, and the first of the slightly yellow-tinged blood was poured into a glass cup. A full 80 millimeters, then the spring-like crystal, glass shard-like object, blackened drops of pus, and a copper mirror with damaged decorations around its edges, successively placed into the cup of blood. Kami, that's the scene. In an instant, the glass cup took on a grayish-white color, and all the items submerged. Soon, a glass of grayish-white liquid that clearly reflected the mirror world appeared, the unaging potion. Lumion, having simultaneous two perspective, raised his left hand and brought the transparent cup to his lips. He first tasted a mixture of soil and stone, then his senses were numbed. Whenever the potion passed his tongue, his esophagus and stomach lost sensation, turning grayish-white, the grayish-white seeping into his soul. At that moment, Lumion felt his spirit float to the air, arriving at the mirror self, watching as his demoness form turned to stone. His mirror self underwent corresponding changes, but just so much more slowly. Lumion's spirit descended, using his mirror self to maintain consciousness and avoid petrification. He understood why the demoness of an aging's ritual involved enslaving one mirror person or making them infatuated or reconciling, because otherwise, after taking the potion, as the body petrified and the spirit wandered, it would meet the mirror person's strong resistance, and at this time, one's strength could only be exerted very limitedly, making the situation precarious, and the mirror person when the mirror person was also petrified, Lumion's spirit floated up, returning to his body, and now his body had adapted. Then he saw his mirror self changing, transforming towards femininity, and not far away, one from another version from himself, submerged from the darkness, him, when he had just become a demoness of despair, when he was still a pyromaniac, him, when he had just arrived in Cordu, him, in his childhood. Every time he looked in a mirror, it left traces in the mirror world, and now they all had appeared. You can choose one of these selves, fixing that state. This is the secret of how a demoness can restore youth. No matter which state is chosen, it will feminize. My mirror self has become a woman? Is this because I chose reconciliation? Lumion, relieving his petrified state, watched as his mirror self became beautiful and more like himself. Just as feelings of joy arise, a scene appeared. In endless darkness, a distinct figure turned. In the blink of an eye, the figure arrived at the edge of the darkness, looking at Lumion, similar to the primordial demoness's gaze when Lumion advanced to a demoness of despair, but different. Under this gaze, Lumion lost most sensation, left only with a hazy consciousness. Shortly after, he opened his eyes to find himself wrapped in layers of grayish-white spider webs. The advancement was very cool. I like the reconciliation, allowing your mirror self to turn into change genders as well. But then, does that imply that? No, I guess does the opposite happen for hunters who used to be demonesses? Or hunters who used to be women? Maybe that's the better way to put it. We don't know what happens during Hunter high sequence advancements. Their advancement wouldn't be mirror related, but the problem is they would have a mirror person when they became a sequence 7, right? So they'd have a mirror person, but now they're a male and their mirror person's a female. It's weird, right? It's weird. Thoughts on who the figure is? My assumption is Crismona, but it may be someone else. I don't know. Under this gaze, Lumion lost most sensation. Shortly after, he opened his eyes to find himself wrapped in layers of grayish-white webs. In the next second, the webs collapsed, falling to the ground, and Lumion's ordinary clothes, weakened by the petrification and current recovery, turned to powder. While taking out and changing into the clothes from the traveler bag, Lumion looked and saw his demoness mirror self. He smiled, and so did she. They were no longer separate. Lumion was both outside the mirror and inside, both his past self and a present. This was a demoness of unaging. Bro is not just here to make memes. Look at this. Don't ask me why I'm looking at Discord right now. I get bored. Look at this. He's too quick. What? And this was said 9 minutes ago. That's so crazy, bro. While changing clothes, Lumion examined the changes in himself. Because of the reconciliation, the mirror consciousness had returned to his body, whether it was his reflection in the mirror or him outside. They were now both him, sharing their same conscience. In other words, he had the sensation of being both outside and within the mirror simultaneously. Even walking in the sunlight, he would partially experience another self, moving hesitantly to the dark. He also noticed, this also allowed him to see both reality and changes in mirrors simultaneously. Furthermore, in the past, when a mirror person died, it would split off from his body again to revive. Now, the body had the same privilege. If it died, it would revive in the spirit or in the mirror world. Simply put, the death of either person or the mirror person was no longer true death. It was more like a partial injury. Additionally, Demoness of an Agent could have multiple mirror persons. Lumion could use environments and multiple mirrors to temporarily multiply his mirror persons, and as long as one survived, he wouldn't die. He could also use blood, hair, skin, or other media to create a mirror person sleeping in the mirror, hiding that mirror in a secret place under anti-divination conditions, cutting off the corresponding mystical connections to prevent curses and other harm. This way, even if his body and other mirror persons died, as long as this hidden mirror person remained unfound, Lumion could revive. This was the source of a Demoness of an Aging's bizarre resistance to death and skill at revival. Without this characteristic, revival through this method would be impossible. Well, no, not. You can't call what Easy's doing to COI side chick treatment. A man has to see his side chick once a month or something. You have to see them occasionally. This does not count, okay? At this point, COI and Easy are just randos. They don't know each other, okay? They're people who used to be friends. This reconciliation means both inside and outside the mirror me, when enslavement and infatuation means the mirror self is either not me or just an appendage. As Lumion thought, an illusory star field appeared before his eyes. Some of these stars very bright and large, hidden in the depths of the darkness, while others seemed nearby. When Lumion's pupils dilated, he felt his unaging potion had been fully digested. What's going on? Had it been digested right after drinking it and completing the advancement? He hasn't even begun acting. Amidst confusion, bewilderment, and perplexity, thoughts flashed through Lumin's mind as he arrived at a wonderful speculation, brought about by the awakening of Aurora's soul fragment. Has Aurora further awakened through this stage of being both inside and outside the mirror through me and the mirror person? Now effectively a part of me, and any part of me can eventually be revived through the mirror person. So she has gained this characteristic? Given the name, surely the act of a demoness of unaging doesn't require maintaining an unaging mentality and appearance over hundreds of thousands of years. The unaging appearance is easily solved. A demoness of unaging naturally maintains their appearance, but unaging mentality is much more difficult. Yet Aurora is from tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years ago, and has been sleeping the whole time, and upon returning, her mentality is indeed quite young and unaging. Aurora is now part of me, one of my aspects. If she matches the requirements for the potion, then I do too. Bro, transmigrators get a free sequence 3? What was sequence 3 for Klein? Scholar of Yore, yeah, okay, of course, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. What made him happiest wasn't the potion being digested, but that he had truly seen and felt Aurora's awakening. Indeed, the first step in reviving Aurora. Lumin continued examining the changes, and I can separate out the mirror persons for hiding. Since the potion is digested, it has increased to 2. I've truly gained the petrification ability, no longer requiring hair contact. However, petrification still can't take effect on targets across thin air. Either it must be spread inch by inch or from nearby until it reaches and covers the enemy, or spider silk. My eyes are now equivalent to mirrors. Whatever I see can become a target for a curse, and can use the eyes as a medium as long as the mirror person transformation to enter the mirror world. If I manifest an incomplete mythical creature form, my hair will become serpents, each with a clear black and white on its eye, and white eye on its head. Whatever these eyes see can be petrified. My utilization of the mirror world has strengthened. I can pull people of lower standing into the mirror world without noticing them. For saints and angels of equal or higher standing, success and detection depend on their state. I can even pull an entire house or a street to the mirror world. I can now directly transmit power through the mirror world. Combined with mirror projection, I can sit at home and manifest power anywhere in Trier. The power cannot exceed a sequence 4. The Hunter path still only at sequence 5, with no new fusion abilities. All mirror projections cannot leave their corresponding mirror reflection. At the Demoness of an Aging level, I can control mirrors within a 15-kilometer radius and those I visited before. The plague range has reached 10 kilometers and can spread on its own. Each spider silk is like an arm. I can perfectly display the charm of women at every age. As long as there's a physical medium, curses not only affect the target, but also their direct relatives. With large-scale black spatial magic, crucial media, and arrangements, curses may even harm angels. Other Demoness abilities have also improved. That bizarre state of the Demoness of Black earlier really has nothing to do with the Demoness of an Aging itself. Or perhaps it depends on which ritual was chosen. After this examination, Lumin looked around and went back to his bedroom. By then, Madame Magician was gone. "Are you now Demoness of an Aging?" Frank asked. "Yes, we reconciled. I've also fully digested the potion." "What?" "If you become a Demoness of an Aging, you should be able to do it too," Lumin smiled at Franca. "Me? Does it focus on time scale and on an aging state?" Franca realized. "I believe the most important acting principle is maintaining an unaging mentality over an erosion of time." "Ah. Did the Celestial Worthies make us hang on that light gate for thousands of years? His intentions so bad, yet the outcome good." "You relied on Aurora?" Jenna asked. "I now truly feel that she is a part of me." Lumin didn't hide it. "That's wonderful," Jenna smiled. Lumion then told Frank and Jenna in great detail about his dialogue with his mirror person, his feelings during advancement, and saying, reconciliation brings unity between the self in and outside the mirror. The other two methods probably don't work. The mirror person would remain one's male self. I think the prerequisite for reconciliation is that you have a common goal, which one is willing to sacrifice themselves, and the mirror person has no better options. If earlier my mirror person has deceived me, instigated, and replaced me, since his core is male, the ritual would have failed, and from this you would have determined that the one who came out was the mirror person. But for purely female demonesses, there isn't this restriction, and if your mirror person replaces you, Jenna, then you could perform the ritual and become a demoness of an aging, making it practically impossible for anyone to notice that you had been replaced. You think this may be related to the potentially horrifying experience female demonesses may experience when advancing to a demoness of an aging? Surely that isn't everything, but part of it, Lumion nodded. Do you want to perform the ritual today, or wait a while longer? Lumion asked Franca. I want to try. If my mirror person has memories from before transmigrating, rather than being dominated by the original body, I think I can persuade him. Wait! Franca's also gonna become a sequence 3? Damn, is Franca and Lumion, are they going bar for bar right now? They said, I'll go high sequence for high sequence with you right now, bro. They said, what, like it's hard or something? Someone tell Franca she's not the main character here, bro. Chill. When Madam Magician turned, Franca, like Lumion before her, had entered deep into the mirror world with the help of the angel of the door pathway, positioning, and containment. She saw her mirror person sitting cross-legged. You dare show your face to me, the mirror person shouted. What have I done to you? Franca said. I didn't cause all this. You're a part of me, split from my soul. When we drank the potion, can you say you didn't agree, that it wasn't with your permission? I'll admit to that. But you clearly had a chance to become a man again, yet you refused. Have you become addicted to being a woman? What right have you to face me? Have you forgotten what we looked like? Our conviction? I feel that gender is a societal construct, Franca said. What is important is a person's character, spirit, and morals. Don't try to pacify me with that instigator rhetoric. You know all too well we're the same, the mirror person interrupted. Being able to talk is good. Being able to talk means there's room for discussion, Franca sighed inwardly. After knowing we can't go back, I only care about certain people and things right now. I don't wish to lose them, to have any more major upheavals. Besides, you're right. You're not wrong. Perhaps I've been a woman for too long, and I've gotten a little used to it. And we fear change. Staying unchanged is acceptable to us. You admit it then. You can fool others, but you can't fool me, the mirrored person sneered. Besides, it's almost the apocalypse. Even the deities and angels think so. Let's do meaningful things first. Let's leave other matters for after. We can make changes then. Perhaps we have new ideas by then. If we can die during the apocalypse, then we're finished anyway. So thinking about all this is rather meaningless. And we can't avoid the demoness sect matters. Someone must help. Don't you know how dangerous that is? The mirror person said. I know, but I'm the only one who can. If I were in a similar situation, needing someone to take a great risk to do it, I believe both Jenna and Franca would. Or Jenna and Lumion would. Her voice soft, without a trace of doubt. Whatever. Whether you become a man or court death, it's all the same to me. Nothing to do with me. After knowing we can't go back, what does any of it even matter? Franca recalled her emotions and said, we can only gradually accept our current life and accept this reality. At least there are still people we care about. People who care about us. Our life has some meaning. Thank you. What the fuck does that have to do with me? If I were to turn the tables and replace you, do you think Jenna and Lumion would maintain their current relationship, or would they kill me? I have nothing left. My greatest wish originally was to find a chance to replace you, to lock you in this hellhole, while I lived a good life outside, searching for ways to become a man and return home. In the end, I would go home a handsome, strong man with many powers, becoming an urban hero like Batman, admired and pursued by the girls I loved. And now, I have nothing. You are me. I am you. What I have is yours. Let us reconcile. Let's merge. Forget it. We can't go back. What is even the point of saying such things? Franca walked forward and extended her hand. Let me help you. You probably thought you could charm me, didn't you? Make me fall for you. You know, I am vulnerable to feminine wiles. Actually, now that I think about it, if I had replaced you, leaving aside whether Jenna and Lumen would accept it, I couldn't continue being a woman. I'd definitely switch to a war bishop that live a life of debauchery, cursing while sacrificing myself when the apocalypse comes. Think about it. I guess it's all rather fucking pointless, isn't it? The mirror person fell silent, then extended his right hand, grasping Franca's, and stood up. I haven't forgiven you, and I don't accept your reasoning. I just have no more lingering thoughts. I still have some, Franca smiled. I suppose you do. So, continue on. I will not be joining you. Hearing these words, Franca felt the distance between them close and their connection transform. A phrase flashed through her mind. Yesterday's matters die with yesterday, and today's matters live with today. The ritual succeeded. The primordial demoness watched for but a moment. Who knows what she's waiting for? The magician said to Lumen and Jenna, I will change clothes and come back. With that, she walked through an illusory door. By the time she had changed back and returned, Franca had walked out of the full-length mirror. Have you also fully digested your potion? Jenna asked. Yes. Lumen's analysis of the unaging principles should be correct. Bro. They both said... Franca genuinely just went bar for bar with the main character. She said, what? Sequence 3? Sequence 3. Fully advanced? Fully advanced. What you got? Alright, so we did get your god back, if you think about it. 2 sequences? Just get me up to an angel. You and me. Both angels. Fuck Franca. She's not one of us. She wasn't even here. I'm the main character. You were in 2 boats. Kinda same. Boris, hear me out. Alger doesn't even have to know. I'm probably stronger than Alger at this point. I can probably fight him. It's fine. We can just take his ship. Fuck him. He's not that important. What's he doing anyway? Madam Magician chuckled. Your advancement speed and digestion rate would make any of the major arcana holders envious of you both. But not you, Lumen thought. But don't think about rushing to the angel level yet. At sequence 3, you still have many things to do. Most importantly, anchors. Faith anchors. Without proper preparation, even if you have the potion formula and are lucky enough to collect the corresponding materials, the probability of losing control will be far higher. And Wiz wanted Force to become... Listen, if I could get Mr. Door to come back, kill Force, give him her characteristic. I'm still here for it. I want to be clear. I just need someone who can replace her. I still need her utility, but I would like someone with her powers who's just not a bum bitch. If we can find someone, I'm all in. I'm still here with that. I just don't have a replacement for her right now. Feed her to Creeping Hunger. Creeping Hunger dies if you feed her it a fucking angel. It just explodes like it's like, what the bro? You think I got it like that? And besides, I'm not saying she deserves to be in eternal torment. I'm not a dickhead. She just deserves to be in eternal rest. Because she's a bum bitch and she wants to, yeah, well, I just want to rest. I haven't even started on the... You know what? Take an eternal rest, you bum bitch. Faith anchors? We need to establish our own faith and spread it, Frank asked. Establishing a new faith in a land that worships true gods can only be done secretly. If you don't mind, the Church of the Fool can list you as saints, assign corresponding parishes, and make you the patron saint of those areas so you can quickly gain followers through our church and Mr. Fool's authority. All Orthodox churches help their angels and saints this way. They both looked at each other and said, "We have no objections." Then quickly design honorific names that point to you, 5 passages, and then send them through a messenger to Judgment. Also, you're planning to stay in Trier, right? I'll have the Church of the Fool assign 2 cathedrals in Trier to you. Ah, there's another one now, in the suburban area. This way, when followers pray, you'll be able to respond. The more miracles there are, the more believers. That's one aspect. You'll also need to do things to increase your own anchors. Well, you just advanced rest, and then consider this later. With that, Madam Magician hurriedly left because she still had many pages of the manuscript to complete. Let's rest first, Lumin said to Franca. Although the potion had been digested, advancement was truly a battle and they were exhausted. Okay, Franca agreed. Without waiting for nightfall, they both fell asleep. Lumin had a dream where he went to Cordoue, his house in Cordoue. Aurora was waiting for him and had prepared a guest room for Jenna and Franca. The mountain pastures green as carpets, the sunlight abundant and Lumin reluctant to awaken. Lumin got out of bed and walked up towards the door when he suddenly saw a white paper on the desk with an ink bottle pressing down on one corner. It wasn't like this before I slept. Lumin's gaze froze. There was a line on the paper in a writing he knew very well. Aurora's handwriting. Did she become active while I was asleep? She wrote this? Is she trying to tell me something? Lumin approached the desk with dilated pupils and read a short line written in Antesian. Summon white paper. Summon white paper. Lumin saw the words and was stunned, a trembling surprise, fear swelling up. Had Aurora, whose soul fragment had awakened and merged, struggled to control my body while I slept? Why? Lumin remembered that white paper was Aurora's contract creature, very weak. Besides, being spiritually connected to Aurora, its only function was to temporarily carry one beyond her ability of the contractor, and even then, limited and simple. Who cares? The real reason for Lumin's intense reaction was he had originally thought everything about Cordoue was clear and that every symbol had been interpreted and that who all the participants were and their roles were clear and no more questions. And now Aurora had awakened further, and the first thing she did was tell him to summon white paper. Is there still something we are missing? Are there still secrets hidden? Lumin suppressed the turmoil in his heart and reviewed the key points in the Cordoue village incident. Initially, Madame Polly followed her husband, the local administrator Boas, to Cordoue, planning to develop Cordoue into her territory to establish a paramita, and began having an affair with the padre and became pregnant. Aurora, influenced by the members of April Fools, attempted a soul summoning. Aurora sought treatment from I Know Someone, and her mental state fluctuated until ultimately allowing Rose Louis Sampson to return. Some villagers who were close to Aurora and were influenced by Roche and believed in the Constellation heresy spread it outward, and the Padre, while dealing with those involved in the heresy, was bewitched by Roche and became a believer in inevitability. At this time, or perhaps later, the deity worshipped by the Aurora Order noticed Aurora's abnormality and the problems in Cordoue and began plotting Amon's return. Several shepherds began bringing the sacrifices to the village, conducting rituals. Raymond, Ava, and the others discovered the village's abnormality and were silenced. I stumbled upon this and was nearly killed, fortunately saved by Aurora. She also discovered something wrong. We began seeking help from the outside world, but the most truly useful approach was blocked by the tiny lizards. I will say, how the fucking Padre just lost to Roche is kind of... Damn, bro. The Padre was genuinely just falling for two different kinds of fucking evil gods at one time. Aurora was increasingly becoming Roche. They raided Madame Polly's castle and the Padre killed his own child. Madame Polly left Cordoue with her husband, butler, and maid, but left behind that cradle and other arrangements, achieving some purpose. The final ritual began and Aurora pushed me off the altar and Cordoue was destroyed. LEMMiNO recalled everything but couldn't find where the white paper had played an important role. It only served as eyes for Aurora, or Roche. Amongst all the key points, the only unclear one was what role Madame Polly's empty cradle and hidden arrangements played, but preliminarily, it could be linked to the true birth of the mother's child of God, Ami Bella, which isn't very questionable. This was confirmed by both Mr. Starr and Madame Polly. Did white paper observe some details? Just as LEMMiNO thought, he heard a knock. Come in. Frank and Jenna opened the door and said, "We sensed you were awake, but hadn't opened the door, so we came to check on you." LEMMiNO pointed to the paper and said, "While I was asleep, Aurora briefly awoke and wrote this message." White paper? Your sister's contact creature? Why? I don't know. I thought everything about Cordoue was clear, but now... Could this be a useful change that would appear after becoming a demoness of an aging in Mr. Fool's revelation? Franca thought. Likely, LEMMiNO realized. I had previously examined the characteristic and abilities of the demoness of an aging and hadn't found anything that could play a key role in subsequent events. I thought something would emerge when I brought the gift to the land to meet Hanbro. And now it seems Mr. Fool required me to advance before borrowing the gift to the land, because once I advanced, Aurora's soul fragment would awaken and better merge, able to provide reminders. Could it also be that Mr. Fool just said, like, "Yo, homie, you got a whole sequence already fully digested. Might as well use it, because you're gonna get into a fight. And if you're you right now, you die. But you then make it." So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not... What do I know? I'm just a fucking great old one. You do you. So you're saying that white paper may have recorded key information about Madame Polly and her baby Ami Bella? Go get Anthony and Ludwig. I'm preparing to summon him now. Since Aurora hasn't died, her contact with the white people still exists, and since Aurora's a part of me, I can summon her in her name. LEMMiNO wanted Anthony and Ludwig because he wasn't sure what state white people would be in. Perhaps a spectator or a gourmet would be needed. Alright, Frank and Jenna realized. After Anthony and Ludwig arrived, LEMMiNO set up the altar and took out his Major Arcana card, the Chariot. While placing the Chariot card at the corner of the altar, he took out the full sacred emblem and placed it on top. This matter may involve the Great Mother, so they must be careful. I summon in my name the spirit that wanders about the unfounded, a friendly creature that can be subordinated, a contract companion that belongs solely to me. After reciting, LEMMiNO saw the candle flame start to flicker and take on a ghostly blue hue. The cold wind swept through and a transparent, blurry sphere like soap emerged. It was quietly faced LEMMiNO, giving him a sense of familiarity and strangeness. Indeed, white paper. Just as he remembered, but there was a strange sense of unfamiliarity. LEMMiNO furrowed his brows as images flashed through his mind. He remembered now that he had never actually seen white paper. Before Cordoue's destruction, he was in yet a beyonder, and even with Aurora's guidance, he hadn't activated his spirit vision. And at low to mid sequences, one couldn't see white paper without spirit vision. The memories of white paper were all through Aurora's soul fragment. LEMMiNO then, through the further awakened fragments of Aurora, recalled the circumstances of her first summoning. At that time, white paper was such a fragile, soap bubble-like sphere, but there seemed to be liquid inside the sphere, with hints of pale yellow and milky white. Milky white is giving Frank mushrooms, which is giving Mother Goddess of Depravity. As time passed, these liquids disappeared and white paper settled to its current form. Why was there such a change? LEMMiNO looked at white paper, feeling it was indeed spiritually connected to him, but spiritual connection It didn't mean white paper had enough intelligence to understand the meanings of words. It could only accept simple commands. There's nothing abnormal, nothing noteworthy, Franca realized. Jenna and Anthony shook their heads as well, indicating they couldn't glean anything important either. It seemed to have a very tempting scent, and now it's gone, Ludwig said. Used to have a very tempting scent, indicating there was a problem. There used to be? The knowledge Aurora used to summon white paper came from the infusion of the evil hidden sage? An intentional infusion? Eh? What was the problem that used to exist? Who's the goblin? What? What? What was the problem that used to exist? Frank asked. I don't know, Ludwig shook his head. If we treat the Cordu village disaster as a story, what does the white paper represent? I don't know what the contract creature white paper represents. Oh, the nephew. Oh, that's my fucking niece. That's not even my nephew, that's my niece. I think I heard her say ice cream. I think my dad said she can't have any more ice cream because she already had some during lunch. But when the concept of white paper is connected to the story, it symbolizes the state before the story is written, symbolizing the beginning of everything. Okay, I'm gonna be really annoying, Chris. Can we end at 10:46? Can we end here? I just want a little bit of time off. That's fine? Okay, we'll end it here, okay? The beginning of everything, Lumen repeated Franca's interpretation. Did the Cordu village disaster truly start when Aurora summoned white paper rather than when April Fools set their sights on her? Tomorrow's batch will be longer though? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday, man. I'm done work. We're laughing. Listen, I did 12 chapters today. I did 11 yesterday, okay? It's fine. The beginning of everything. From Aurora's memory fragments and grimoire, she was the first infused with knowledge about white paper, and it was only several months after that Madame Polly followed her husband to Cordu. I originally thought Madame Polly was simply looking at the rural village with weak church and government influence to develop her territory, yes Harsh, and prepare for the formation of Paramita and obtain higher boons, which is why she targeted Boaz, who was about to become the administrative officer and territorial judge of Cordu. And now it seems this may not have been a coincidence. She came specifically for Cordu. Though she may not have known why she needed to do this, she likely received divine revelation. Yes, that's right. Lumen then smiled. This answers why Amibella's first incarnation was in Cordu. Madame Polly's affair with the Padre and her pregnancy happened before Aurora used soul summoning, or before her condition worsened due to the treatment from I Know Someone, which led to the spread of inevitability. Unless someone who had prophesied the development and outcome of the entire incident, Madame Polly probably hadn't thought about using the inevitability believers as sacrifices, and at that time Cordu didn't even have any inevitability believers. And the Cordu incident involved very high-level power, so even the Great Mother probably couldn't see the specific shape of everything at the beginning. Simply seducing the Padre of the Church of EBS and having an affair near the cathedral altar, becoming pregnant and obtaining the corresponding symbolism, couldn't have accomplished this in any remote village. Why did only Madame Polly succeed when she successfully became pregnant with Amibella? There wasn't even any power of inevitability to utilize. Think about it in reverse. We can reach a conclusion. When Aurora summoned white paper, certain things related to Amibella secretly arrived in Cordu, nurturing power invisibly, and then Polly received divine revelation to come to Cordu. Am I crazy? Is this not working with my theory? Am I genuinely cooking hard as a motherfucker right now? Doesn't primordial God Almighty meet all of this? Influence someone of the church of the EBS church. Check. Give a revelation, subtly influencing people. Subtly influencing Madame Polly to go to Cordu. Subtly influencing Aurora to go to Cordu. Subtly influencing all of these. Is it not? Because if Adam can do this, you gotta imagine what the primordial God Almighty can do. Am I crazy? This bitch is like, because Adam's like, I'm good. And this motherfucker's like, bitch, I've been doing this shit long before your ass was even a fucking itch in your daddy's pants. Primordial God Almighty's dead though. Celestial Worthy hasn't done much IRL. Yeah, but like, maybe he has someone of those sequences. Maybe he has someone of those sequences that he is kind of influencing, or could he have believers that he has somehow doing this stuff as well? Because couldn't he have like the Celestial Worthy had like now the fucking now had April Fools believing in him? Couldn't Primordial God Almighty have like a group as well? Is that not possible? And he can give them boons. After reflecting on the changes in white paper, Lumen thought, amniotic fluid? Did white paper carry the amniotic fluid that nurtured Amibala? After the amniotic fluid came to reality, it merged with Cordu's environment. Lumen described white paper's appearance when it was first summoned and then the changes, and laughed. If this is true, that infusion from the Hidden Sage was not random, but intentional. But the Hidden Sage didn't get any benefit from this so far. We haven't even seen how he would. Pure harm without self-benefit? Also, wasn't April Fool's targeting Aurora also coincidence? They weren't aiming for Amibala. We need to reassess what the hell we even know about April Fools now, Lumen scoffed. After experiencing the Dream City, don't you have a deeper understanding of foolery? What April Fools believes may not be the truth. Just like the sea prayer ritual, they overlook some things. Is the Celestial Worthy helping the Great Mother? Franco realized. As for why the Hidden Sage infused that knowledge, I don't know. I'll ask him eventually. I remember Ma'am Hermit's main task was to investigate the Hidden Sage's condition, and the reason his mutation back then caused the one from the Church of Steam to leave the Moses Ascetic Order. Did his coming to life, his abnormality, come from the Great Mother? Wait, we believe the Hidden Sage is a characteristic that has that's become sentient. The Great Mother could do that, but couldn't the Primordial God Almighty too? Couldn't he, the Primordial God Almighty, say grant humanity in the same way that Adam did? And he'll be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna help you out. Listen, I'll give you some power, but you gotta infuse some knowledge when I need you to. A little bit. Some knowledge that I need goes to some people that I need it to go to. Capiche? Yeah, and he doesn't even have to grant humanity. He can just grant awareness. True, that's even easier. Even if he's not fully awakened, he might be able to do that. It's like a lower threshold, right? Like, he's not granting him humanity, he's granting him awareness. How? The barrier was quite solid at the time. Should we report it to Mr. Fool? I'll pray now, Lumen said. After Mr. Fool had initially awakened, praying to him wasn't as troublesome as before. Soon, Lumen completed the prayer, reporting all that he knew, all the changes from Aurora's soul fragments for their awakening after he became a demoness of unaging, white paper symbolism, and the new interpretation of the Cordu incident. Mr. Fool only said he knows. Lumion told Frank and the others, it seems we'll have to wait until I bring the gift of the land to the city of exiles and meet Hanbro before getting more revelations. Alright, Frank aside. What is the correlation between Amibella, Hidden Sage, M-God, and Sun God? Hold on, hey there. Let me finish this chapter and then we'll forget. I'll also synchronize my speculation about the Hidden Sage with Ma'am Hermit later, hoping it may give her some inspiration. Do you plan to tell all the members of the Research Society the truth about the transmigration? Lumion looked at Franca. I'm afraid the shock would be too great, and some people may not be able to accept it. If I hadn't digested half the despair potion, saying this much about it is all that's needed. I plan to meet with Madame Hella first. Give her a hint. She is emotionally stable and should be okay. Then we can discuss how to proceed. By the way, help me ask when the next gathering will be. Lumion said. Do you have something in mind? I want to clarify one question. Why Aurora? As in, why the Hidden Sage chose Aurora as a target for the infusion of knowledge? The condition of being a transmigrator, having the Grey Fog's aura, being female, and being a warlock, almost no one in the world could satisfy all of these. But within the Research Society, many would. So why would he pick Aurora? Was there something hidden else about Aurora herself? Was Cordu already harboring abnormalities? Or was she simply unlucky? True, we should investigate, Franca nodded. You need to design your honorific names, Jenna said, trying to change the topic. Lumion and Franca both looked at each other and felt a little awkward. Of course, aside from being a little awkward, Franca was also excited. I'm going to have an honorific name, this is awesome! I'll go first. Seeing both Lumion and Jenna looking at each other, Jenna took out a pen and paper and said, the phrase, the great Franca Rowland needs to be there. How fucking embarrassing. The other description should reflect your abilities and characteristics, Lumion said. Should the first line be the demoness of an aging? No, wouldn't that affect Mr. Fool's reputation? As his saint, he should lean on the positive side. The one who never ages. Should the second line be the spreader of disease and plague? That sounds like a villain. The keeper of diseases and plague. What do you think? Implying both containment and the authority to bestow illness as punishment. That works, Jedi said. I think the description of a demoness should be included, but needs to sound better. Demoness accompanied by strife and catastrophe? I'm not the one bringing strife and catastrophe, they just follow me around. Jesus. The fourth line, should we showcase a demoness's charm or a personal characteristic? But if we add pleasure, what if people start praying to me for pleasure? As a saint of the Church of the Fool, you should indicate your relationship with the Church. Also, don't use pleasure, it's suggestive, use joy. The cup of bearing joy and pain, Lumion said. The cup refers to the cup card, indicating I'm a minor arcana holder, using a status. The cup card also symbolizes emotions and feelings, perfectly matching joy and pain. Perfect! These horrific names, true. She quickly wrote down the complete name. The one who never ages, keeper of diseases and plague, the demoness accompanied by strife and catastrophe, the cup bearing joy and pain, the great Franca Rowland. I see many Sequence 3 saints have protector of something or other, should I add that? But I don't have anything to protect right now, I still lack accumulation and have been a saint too short. I can't be the protector of Lumion and Jenna now, can I? Protector of human trials and spirit of adventure, Lumion joked. And Franca rolled her eyes. False advertisement final boss? I know, it's very the one who never ages is cool. Keeper of disease and plague is cool. The demoness accompanied by strife and catastrophe is garbage. The cup bearing joy and pain is also garbage. The great Franca Rowland is also garbage. 3 out of 5 is horrible. 2 out of 5, decent. So, overall, poor. Rating, 2 out of 5. Dislike. As you go! Alright guys, we're gonna end stream there. We will talk more about my theory. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget tomorrow. But we'll talk more about my theory later. I think my theories, I think I'm on the right, I think it makes sense. I don't know if I'm on the right track, but it makes sense in my mind. At least the logic is tracking. Alright guys, that's it. We made it as far as I fucking could. I'm still on track for my fucking for my promise, okay? By the way, I'll say it again. I genuinely hate drunk me. Jesus Christ, he's such a dickhead. Making fucking promises I can't keep. Fucking asshole. Didn't even fucking think how this would affect my whole fucking week. Dickhead. Bye guys.